everyone to join. Oh,
Sorry.
I should probably start over. It is April 11th, 2023. I'm John Reynolds, Chairman of the Sewer Commission, and this is the April 11th meeting of the Sewer Commission. And I'd like to ask everyone to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Bill has a flag there. Okay. I'll start out. I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the flag of the United States of America,
to the republic
which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God, indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and
liberty and
justice
justice
for all.
for all.
All right, great. Let's see. Going to do I guess I have to read my story, right? In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting of the Sewer Commission is being recorded and will be able to be found on the Lunenburg Access YouTube channel after the meeting. The following information is also provided for members of the public that would like to participate in the meeting remotely. To participate remotely from a computer, please use the link to join the public meeting webinar found on the posted agenda, or from a telephone, dial the toll-free number 888-475-4499 and enter the webinar ID 792-737-0353. If you have not registered with Zoom, you will be asked for your name and an email address. Note, no participant ID is needed, just press pound when asked. I'm going to do a roll call vote to confirm that members are here. Brett Ramsden,
Aye.
Dave McDonald,
Aye.
Mike Nault,
Present.
Mike DeVakis is not here, and I for myself. Staff, when I call your name, please answer. Bill Bernard.
Aye.
Okay. Paula Bertram
Here.
and Jane Rainley.
Here.
Okay. And yeah, I almost said Barb, but okay. And do we have someone from Il Forno for the first appointment?
We do.
Okay.
Carlene.
Okay. Okay.
Carlene, can you hear us? She's not on. Oh, she has no microphone. Carlene, can you call in? Using a phone?
Okay. Maybe she will attempt to do that. Her appointment is until 6:15
Yeah, okay.
anyway. So when we get to current business, unless anyone objects, I'm thinking maybe take things slightly out of order. Because there's a couple things we absolutely have to cover. One is the RFP. And I think need to have a little discussion about the intermunicipal agreement. I'd like to move the budget rate increase in capital planning towards the end prior to business manager's report. Paula, do you object to moving those around?
No, not at all.
Okay. I guess there's no reason why we can't start with the current business.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
you may want to go back to public comment and then announcements.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Any public comment from the public? Seeing none. Any public comment from the commissioners or any members of the staff?
Mr. Chair, if I could, I just want to thank everybody who came out to town caucus and running for a position. Thank you, Brett, for rerunning. That's great. We appreciate that very much. And thank you to all the volunteers who signed up for a position in town.
I want to, since we're taking a comment, thank Dave for running for sewer commissioner, and can't believe that he didn't win.
I won the sewer commission. I'm still here.
But
water
we
commission.
appreciate-
Yeah.
Water commission, excuse me. You know what I was talking about.
I thought you were trying to get rid of me.
Yeah. So I got sewer on my mind, Dave. So
Yeah.
Thank you, Brett.
anyways,
It was a
Thanks for
pleasure.
giving-
Thank you.
we appreciate your efforts.
Any other public comment? No? Wow, okay. Anyway, so I guess there's no reason why we can't go on to current business until 6:15, and hopefully Carleen will be able to call in. So the first item is the state earmark request. Paula, do you have any update on that?
I do. I wanted to let everybody know that the state earmark requests have been sent to the legislature. And our sewer pump station upgrades for $300,000 is on that list.
Okay. Do you know when the state makes up their mind how this money is going to be allocated?
I don't have a timeline. All I can tell you is that it was sent on March 22nd by the town manager. There are several requests. We are one of 4. I don't know if you'd like me to list the 4, but
Sure, I'd be interested to know.
sure. There are security upgrades for Turkey Hill Elementary School and the primary school. 160,000, 131,000, and 83,500 for 3 different projects. Marshall Park, they are looking for 250,000. The library for exterior painting is looking for $36,000, and then we are looking for $300,000 for sewer pump stations.
Okay, great.
Mr. Chair, if I could.
Yes,
I just want to make it clear that that money is the aquifer money. Is that correct, Paula?
No, that is state earmarks. That is not
State
the ARPA-
earmarks,
That
okay.
is not the ARPA funding.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Yep.
okay. All right, the next item,
Carleen has her hand up. Hold on. Carleen, can you not letting me do a phone dial in? Okay.
can she just, would it be possible for her to call someone and put her on speakerphone? Would we be able to hear her that way? Like if she called one of us and was on,
Potentially, I can send her my phone number.
okay, if you don't mind.
Carleen, I'm gonna send you my phone number and hopefully you can call me and I can put it on speaker. Okay, I just sent it.
All right, while we're waiting for that, item 5 is the change and expansion of user fees. Paula, do you want to elaborate on that one?
Sure. So one of the things that hold on.
You got a phone call, Paula.
Hello, Carleen.
Yes, hi.
Hi, can everybody hear her?
I
can
heard her.
hear
Okay, Carleen, can you say something just so we can make sure you can be heard?
Hello, everybody.
Hello, can you hear us?
Hello.
Can you hear them okay?
Yeah, because I have them on my computer. I just
Okay,
don't have microphone or video on my computer.
okay, okay.
Okay. All right, and Carly, we'll be back to you. We have to wait until 6:15 to talk about your issue. So Paula,
Okay,
go ahead.
this mic is coming on.
Okay. Yeah, Paula, go ahead.
So what I determined is that we actually, one of our future agendas will be talking about a connection for an existing property that has a certain number of bedrooms now and then plans to expand in the future. And that triggered me to question, because our rates are based on the amount of flow that you're putting into the sewer system, and that's how we charge our connection fees. it triggered me to look into what the city of Leominster does when a property expands. And whenever a bedroom is added in the city of Leominster, there is a fee that is charged, and I sent that out, I believe, to everybody. There's a fee that's charged, and it's based on the number of bedrooms. And it's part of the building permit process. So they have to fill out a form, and then that fee is sent to the sewer commission. So I'd like to consider the sewer commission in implementing that. There is something in our regs that says that we can charge for expansion of use, but it calls it a privilege fee. So I actually have an appointment with town council on April 26th to talk about this, is to determine if we can charge that fee under that portion of our bylaw. So I wanted to get the commission's thoughts on it before I pursued it further.
Okay, any thoughts? I'll go in the order I have you on my screen here. Dave?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to look at that because that's how our fees are based on anyways, by bedroom. So
Right.
it's just really getting caught up with what's going on.
Right. Mike?
I agree. Good catch, Paula.
Brett?
I agree. My question though would be, is this a one-time fee? Is this a monthly, a yearly annual fee, or is it a one-time thing, Paula?
It would be a one-time connection fee because you're increasing flows, or, expansion fee. And then after that, we would charge, as we do everyone else, based on the flow that you put into the sewer system.
I
Okay,
think it's certainly worth checking out, and I'm definitely on board with it.
yeah, and I'm
Thank
in
you.
agreement with that also, but I think maybe before we take a vote on that, Paul, if you talk to town council, get his view and bring that back, and then we can figure out the best way to do it and take a vote at that time.
Absolutely.
Paula, thank you for picking up on that. That's really
Yes.
great.
No problem.
Okay, I guess we've got 2 more minutes. I don't really want to start another topic.
We are going to have feedback, Mr. Chair, because it'll be on speaker and you're all coming through my phone as well. So just
Okay, we'll give it a shot and hopefully it'll work.
maybe Carleen can mute her computer so we don't have our echo, but we'll see.
Okay.
Did everybody have a nice Easter? We
Yes.
have 2 minutes.
I did.
I did.
Mr. Chair, I think you can start a minute earlier here. I don't see anybody on the board coming in.
Okay. Sometimes I don't see everyone, so is that? I'm seeing Paula, Jane, Bill, and 4 commissioners and Carleen.
Mr.
Is
Chair,
there-
if you
yeah.
go down to your, hit your mouse and go down where it says participants. And then there should be 8 people there.
Yeah.
Hit that and it'll give you a list of people over on your right-hand side of your screen.
Yeah, I have 8. So,
No, but if you click that on, it'll give you the names of the people on the right-hand side.
all right. Well, actually, I have a new view here. I have pictures of everyone with your names. So, okay, I guess, Carleen, you have the floor.
Mike is supposed to be coming on, so I don't know where he is right now. He's trying to get on the computer. Can you hear me?
We
Yep,
can.
we can hear you. All right, well, I guess we can go on with our current business until Mike.
Yeah, they're trying at the restaurant to get on, so as soon as they get on, I'll let you know.
Okay. All right, next item is the RFP. Has everyone had a chance to review that?
I
Mr.
gotta
Chair,
look at it.
I skimmed through it, but I didn't, I was gonna look at it tomorrow. Coming back from vacation.
Okay. I think it's something we need to act on pretty quickly. And
I think we should talk about it. I mean, I'm pretty familiar since we wrote the last one, Mike and I. So I mean,
right.
I mean, I think we should talk about it. I mean, I'm pretty familiar with what the scope is. Mike, I think you are too, aren't you?
Yeah,
And
Mhm.
Mr. Chair, I can pull it up on the screen if you think that would be helpful.
Sure.
That'd be great.
But Mr. Chair, remember, we have them online. This could be a little lengthy discussion.
Okay, can everybody
I'm
see my
sorry, Dave,
screen?
Dave, could you repeat that?
yeah, I got it, Paula.
I just want to remind you that we do have Alfonso's on the line there. This could be a lengthy discussion, is what I'm saying.
Right, but I thought Carleen said she's waiting for Mike to connect.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought we could start this while we're waiting, unless anyone objects.
Carleen, do you know if they're able to get on yet? Okay. All right, can you just message me when he's on, just because I'm gonna be in this discussion and then I don't want to miss him. Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Chair.
Okay, let's see, the current one expires it's in the end of July, correct?
June 30th.
June 30th. Okay. Do you want to go through this?
He's here.
Okay. Connecting to audio. Okay. Okay, we have an image. Can you hear us, Mike?
Yes, I am. I'm sorry. I thought this meeting at 6:30, but I'm sorry. I'm just getting in right now.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep, we can hear you
Okay,
fine.
Perfect.
So the floor is yours. Why don't you give us a summary of what you're hoping to do?
As far as the project or as far as the sewer situation?
I'm sorry, you're not coming in real clearly. Can you just
Okay.
repeat?
Are you talking, you want me to talk about what we're doing for the building outside or what we proposing
Yes.
to do? Okay, basically what we are doing is taking the tent out, or taking it down, and we're doing a building 30 by 50 structure with sliding garage, basically 3-bay garage building, 3 bays, sliding doors and climate control. And it's already been approved by the zoning board and also the planning board.
Okay. Now, is your seating capacity changing?
No, we just trying to do some outside seating for the summer, for the spring. And we're spreading the capacity of the restaurant, like between the dining room and outside seating. The seating capacity will not change.
But the potential seating capacity would change, wouldn't it?
We're not planning on it.
Mr. Chair, if I can, I know I did
Go
talk
ahead.
about this. The seating capacity has to change to incorporate the outside seating. Now, what does that do for the plumbing is another story. I mean, he's got his building permit, or I should say his permission from the planning board and so on. I think what he's asking for us, and Paul and I touched this a little bit, is the grease trap capacity. So you have to take what's outside and add what's inside as a max. No matter what happens, it's a max. If he's using it or not, people are going to sit there sooner or later. So we have to consider the grease trap. And I know we've had an issue up in that area before, because there used to be the restaurant Cappy's, I think it was there before, which was nothing but fried food. So I'll stop it there, but that's would be my concern, is the capacity for grease. As far as everything else, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, He's not changing the bathrooms, there's no plumbing, it's just grease because of more food he's gonna be producing, which is a good thing, but that's our concern.
Well, Dave, can I say something?
Yeah.
So I agree of what he's saying. So we had a plan with the trapper, with Gary, and they already cleaned the pipe outside the external grease trap. They jacked already the pipe.
Yeah.
Okay, and we are now on 3-month schedule, quarterly schedule. And the schedule will include cleaning outside and the grease trap inside. The situation with the grease trap inside the restaurant, there is 2 grease traps. Since I came in to this building, we never used the 3-bay sink, which had the old grease trap. We always used it as vegetable sink because we have other dishwashers. We have 2 dishwashers working to wash dishes. So I also shut down the second dishwasher, and we had a 3-bay sink with a brand new grease trap, and it's been inspected by the plumber inspector. So this one would get cleaned up every other week, and Gary from the trapper, they would come in to do professional cleaning every quarter when they take care outside as well. As far as the old grease trap, that section is being canceled. I put a sign on the wall. We're not using that sink for any pots and pans or washing dishes. It's only for cleaning vegetables.
Yep.
So that grease trap had no existence from now on. And honestly speaking, I never even know that was existing because I was buried under the sink.
Yeah.
And now there is no use for that section whatsoever, except washing dishes, washing vegetable once in a while. But the main one now, it's nearby the dishwasher and also underneath the 3-bay sink, and that would be cleaned every other week by my staff. And we would have a record for that, and we'll have a login sheet on the wall. And also we get cleaned up again once every quarter when the grease trapper comes in to do outside, to do the inside as well. And that's the plan, and that's what we've been doing.
You know, Mike, I just want to say thank you. And Mr. Chair, Mike and I did talk about some issues. And I know Paul is on top of this as far as the 25% rule. And I appreciate what Mike is doing. And like I said, the only thing I would request is a letter from Gary for our files that he's signing off on the grease trap. And then Paul are monitoring it with Mike. And again, I think our concern was that he's doing construction. This would be the time to change out the exterior grease trap, but it may not be required if he cleaned it, because Mike, did you get a report on how bad the pipes were before you cleaned it?
Honestly, I didn't. Well, someone came in and inspected the grease trap, and he says the grease trap was very old, which is, I agree, it's very old, it's been there forever, which is, I don't have any use for it for the time being, even going forward in the future. This one is canceled out.
Okay.
Gary is going to seal it. Okay, so there's no more, that thing exists anymore. As far as the other one, would be cleaned every other week, the internal one. And Gary would come in once every quarter, and we have a contract with them already. And I think Gary already stopped by the office last week and he spoke to Paula, I believe. And as far as the 25% and 15%, just to hear me out for a second, please.
Yep.
We were scheduled for cleaning outside every quarter, every 3 months. That's why the grease was at 25%. Somehow, with some misunderstanding, so someone came in from the grease trapper and cleaned outside at the second month. So at that time, the ratio of the grease came into 15%, correct? And that was the word. Because I don't know, this is my math to it. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. You correct me if I am. The 25% for 3 months, that's about average 8% per month. Correct? About 7.5 to 8% per month. So when we did it, after 2 months, the average was 15%. So very much it's in the same ballpark. if you figure 3 months ratio of 25%, and now we got a ratio of 2 months of 15%, that means it's 7.5, under 8% per month. So if we do the math for 3 months, that would come to 25%, correct? Or I'm wrong?
No, you're in the ballpark, yeah.
Wrong way. So it's been done after 2 months versus 3 months. The first 3 months was 25%. Somehow they came in, they cleaned the track, they cleaned the grease trap outside after 2 months, which is, we did not require that. We did
That
not-
was required by the commission because
Okay.
you had been at 30% fog, then 25%. So they requested to be present and to pump it
After 2 months.
early after 2 months, yes.
Okay. So if we figure the ratio per month, it's by 8%, correct? Or that's the wrong math. If you divide it 25% by 3 months, that comes.
Carlene's trying to talk. I'm sorry.
I'm thinking that's because that pipe needed to be pumped out, because we had that pipe pumped out
Yeah.
just last week. So the pipe in the building to the grease trap was pipe cleaned out. So we're wondering if that buildup caused the higher percentage.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, if I could just add what Mr. Packard has said, I don't know if that was helpful or if you want to wait.
No, please.
So what happened is, as I said, the February 15th pumping was because the commission had requested it because of the high percentage of fog. So on March 23rd, myself, Al Packard, and Bill Bernard visited the establishment. We did look at the grease trap in the floor that Mr. Mohammed has talked about. There was a sign posted with cleaning dates on it right above the trap. However, that trap apparently is not in use, but at the time of the inspection, it needed to be replaced. The grease trap on the back wall that apparently is in use did not have a sign. There is a sign now. I received an email from Carlene that they've put a log and they've also put a sign saying not to put grease in the sink. The jetting of the pipes was recommended because the inlet to the interceptor and the outlet to the interceptor were very, very, there was a lot of buildup. So Al had recommended to potentially cut down on fog to jet the pipes, which is
Right.
what they've done. So they have done that both on the one coming into the interceptor and the one coming out. Unfortunately, Al is out of town until Wednesday, but I did talk with him briefly about this, and what he would like to know is the seating capacity of the outdoor seating. And the reason for that is because the interceptor may not be large enough to accommodate that seating, and he would have to do that calculation. But the plans on file with the building department do not have any seating arrangements or idea of how many people can fit in that expanded area.
Okay. Is that something Al can do?
He's informed me that the only email I've received from Al is that he's concerned that the interceptor may not be large enough and that he needs to understand the seating capacity. So I'm assuming he can.
The seating capacity will stay the same around 140, between 130 and 140 seats. And 140 seats will be divided between the two places, between the outside seating and the inside seating. There's no possible way to have all these people in the same time. And that's the plan, is spreading the seating between outside to take advantage of the spring and the summertime to get more business outside. But if we have people outside, it's not going to have people inside. That would offset the inside because nobody wants to sit inside if the outside is available to be seated. And that's the whole idea of having the building outside and have it structurally sound, and we don't have to take it down and build it up again every season. And that was the whole entire idea of having this building outside. The seating capacity would not increase. The seating capacity would divide it between the two places. Most of the time, outside seating is available. Most of the people don't want to sit outside, not the inside. So if the outside more people, the inside will be a lot less people. And basically, that's the whole idea. And the table has been spreading out. It's not too close like it used to be before COVID. Since COVID, we've been spreading the tables and we have a lot less seating in the restaurant than ever been. And that's the whole idea.
Could someone tell me who in town, what board, commission, inspector is responsible for controlling seating capacity at a restaurant?
That would either be the planning board or the building department. And I would, now, I don't know what's going on with the building department, but they usually set the standard for seating capacity. And what Mike said is true. If I went to Mike's restaurant and said, I want to sit outside and I can sit outside, that's great. But now, say you come along and you want to sit outside, but outside is full, then you're going to sit inside. So you have to look at the total structure as total capacity. And as far as, I would take Gary's, the plumbing inspector's report. If he approves it, then I would go with that. I don't think our what do you call him? What's the guy's name who does our work?
Al Packard.
Al. I don't think Al should really get involved in it. We need a write-off from the plumbing inspector. And if
I
Gary's
know-
happy,
I know he is reviewing it. Gary Williams is reviewing it at this point.
I mean, and as far as, you know, when I was the inspector in Shrewsbury for grease traps, one of the whole keys is you got to keep your interior grease traps clean. Once that starts clogging up, all the other stuff goes in your outside grease trap and causes the problem.
And David, that's my attention,
Yeah.
to keep the eye on the grease trap, and whatever it takes, whatever it costs, we're willing to go for it. Right now, we're gonna do at a quarterly basis, and if it gets too much, we can go on 2 months, even if I have to go on a monthly basis.
You know, Mike, I know we talked about you coming from another town and it's different, but the fines are just as important in Fitchburg as they were here in Lunenburg. If,
Absolutely, but
Okay.
right now, if it's that what needed to be done to go forward, I am willing to.
yeah, no, and listen, I agree with you, and I don't have a problem with that. I think we have a good understanding, and we're trying to help businesses in town. But on this one here, Mr. Chair, I'd recommend get the report from Gary, sign off on it, just like we normally would.
David, excuse me, with Gary, as far as the bathroom concerned, we do have plenty of bathroom. We have 4 bathrooms in the building.
Bathrooms not our concern, Mike. It has nothing to do with bathrooms. We take Gary's word for that. Nothing's really changing here, except you're gonna be cooking more food, I hope. I hope this is a win-win for you. You're gonna be cooking more food, which produces more grease. And that's what we're concerned about. And no, if you're following what we're saying and what Gary's saying, you're fine, as far as I'm concerned.
Right, no, I agree with you, Dave, and you know, we'll know what's going on by the volume of grease when the interceptor is pumped, and then, you know, if it gets to the point where it has to be pumped once a month, it has to be pumped once a month, and then,
Whatever it takes, sir.
right, and then at that point, you might want to consider expanding the outdoor, because I know it's expensive to pump. But anyway, yeah, I think we should wait to see Gary's report, and then if Gary's all set with it, I don't have a problem. So I don't see that as something we need to take a vote on tonight. Unless
Okay,
I'm-
so
Go
my
ahead.
understanding from what you guys are saying is that provided Gary Williams does not have any recommendations relative to the grease trap, I can sign off on the building permit.
That's what I would say, yeah. I mean,
That's-
I would trust our plumbing inspector. That's what we're supposed to be doing. But I mean, I appreciate all of your concerns, because it's a concern for all of us. But if he's following the rules with Gary, and I like Gary a lot, so I got a lot of respect for him.
Excuse me, the concern is mine as well as you guys are. If something happened to the grease trap, I'm stuck to just as bad as anything else.
Yes, no, and we know that.
It benefit me, it benefit my business. If the grease trap doing well and nothing wrong with it, and it's been clean and doing the right things, and that's the most important thing. The last thing I needed is a pack up to my building with the grease and sewers and stuff like that. That's
Well,
the
we're
last thing.
We're trying to help you prevent that too, Mike, just so you know. That's why we're talking tonight.
I appreciate it very much. I thank you, and I thank you for your concern. But I'm just as concerned as anybody else. With all due respect to everybody, I'm just as concerned. My concern is I would lose sleep if something wrong with any piece of equipment in my place. I can imagine something wrong with the grease trap outside. And that's our livelihood. And I will keep my eyes on it. I would have Gary at the trapper. He's a great guy, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to help the situation, but to make it better. And at the end of the day, it's better for all of us, not just me, not just you guys, it's the whole entire town.
So
And hopefully,
we-
yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Mr. Mayor. We do need a vote, Mr. Chairman, because this is considered an expansion of use, so you have to approve it.
Okay, well, I was thinking
Which is why it came before you guys. So you could approve it contingent upon Gary Williams' approval if you so choose. Otherwise, it will have to come back before another meeting, and I don't really want to hold up the building permit.
I appreciate that very much, Paula.
okay.
Mr. Chair, I was going to recommend if you want, I can make a motion to approve it.
Go ahead.
Waiting a permit from Gary.
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit then, Dave.
I was going to do the motion to, and agree, Paula, we should take a vote on it to either approve it or deny it. But upon waiting for Gary's sign off, I mean, that's what we need is Gary's sign off.
All right, well, why don't you pose that in the form of a motion?
Mr. Chair, I propose a motion that we approve the use change at Alforno's on Electric Ave in Lunenburg, pending approval from the Lunenburg plumbing inspector.
Okay, anyone want to second that?
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, let's take a vote. Dave McDonald.
Aye.
Mike Knoll,
Aye.
Brett Ramsden,
Aye.
and I for myself. The motion is approved, so
And Mike, I hope you fill up the outside seating and your restaurant.
Thank you, David. I appreciate that. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Paula.
Mhm.
And I'm very grateful to this community, and I'm so happy to be in Lunenburg because it's such a great town, and I want to be part of it. And I want to be a good citizen, a good businessman, and I do whatever it takes to make it happen. I promise you, if any problem, I will get on it right away. I will address it right away, and whatever it takes, I'm gonna work on it. And
Don't
that's
worry,
what makes you
Paula
guys-
will remind you of that every day, trust me.
Well, thank you. I said that too. Sometimes I do need the reminder.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Good
Mike.
night.
Thank you,
Paula,
Colleen,
thank
too.
you again. Good night.
Good night.
Night now.
Okay, why don't we get back to the RFP?
Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yes, I'll be right back. Keep talking, I can hear.
So the first thing I thought we should talk about is, Bill had suggested we put the RFP back into one RFP. Both the generators and the pump stations are, contracts expire as of June 30th. So I don't know if, Bill, you wanted to talk about that a little bit and get feedback from the commission.
Yeah, I can. So in my experience with working two contractors, working essentially on the same location, you can run into problems, if something goes wrong, they start pointing the fingers immediately, right? He said, he did this, they did that. I don't like dealing like that. I'd rather have one contract to handle our entire system. I think it would be better in the long run. The way it's going now is it's essentially the generator company is essentially working for CTE. CTE is directing them. It's essentially the same. There's probably no company out there that could do all the work. So the generator repairs are going to be subbed out anyway. It's going to work the same way anyway. So I don't see why we should split it. But that's my thoughts.
Okay, someone that was on the commission before, if you can remind me why it was split out before?
Yeah,
Trying to
Mr.
remember
Chair.
that one first.
I can do that if you like.
Yeah.
For that reason. We didn't want to put everything under one umbrella. We wanted to get more vendors involved. Since the sewer and the generators are two different animals, you have a It wasn't never designed to have our sewer pump people do the generators. It was always designed to have another company come in and work directly for us. It was never meant to hire you and then sub it out because you're gonna mock that money up as well. It's more convenience than necessity. And again, I'll go along whatever you want, but it was designed to get more vendors involved in the business. And by having two separate companies, is it a pain to monitor? Not really, but it's easier for Bill to manage one company to handle both, if you know what I'm trying to say. So Bill, I know what you're saying, but when we did this, it was designed to protect ourselves. And again, after, if you look at the history, and Barbara will probably tell you that if a company falls down, at least you have something else going. Right now, if a company falls down, we lost everything. You know what I mean? Like that happened to us before. So I'd go either way, just saying why we did it.
Okay. Mike or Brett, any thoughts?
Kind of echoing with Dave, I was also on the sewer at that point, and the company at the time had to sub out the generators. They basically said, we can't deal with the generators. They were subbing them out. So as kind of a cost-effective way, at least we thought it was cost-effective, was we separated it out. So we had a bid for the generators, you know, on their own, somebody that would come out and maintain them. I'm okay with putting it all into one, as long as it's, you know, cost effective, which, you know, that was one of the reasons we did this, because we felt, you know, we could put the generators out for bid and we could put the sewer itself out for bid, and just felt it was cost effective, that's all. So, but I do get where Bill's coming from, that, you know, it's much easier to basically have one person dealing with it all, one company, and going from there, so.
Right.
And one real quick comment, I did look at some of those generator reports. I didn't get a chance to see them all, but very impressed with the reports that they're reporting. I mean, pictures of everything, very thorough, I thought, which, I mean, you know, we rely on those generators and they're big money, so.
Yeah. Brett, any thoughts?
I got a question for Bill. Did you ever discuss this with Al at all? I get the impression Al is barely able to keep up with the huge amount of maintenance he's dealing with now, him and his people. I'm just wondering, did you mention anything to him? Or does he feel he could handle doing both, just out of curiosity? Or as a company, if we were to keep them on, which we obviously like to.
Well, not this specific question we have here, separate or combined contracts, but he definitely plays a big role in the maintenance of the generators. He was trying to get them, for the minor inspection, when they come out and do that, they might come up with some suggestions, like we have a block heater that needs help. So, he's trying to tell them, when you come in for the major, bring all the parts for the block heater, if we want to do it, and do it at that time, so there's no extra charges, because they charge you for travel time and mileage, that kind of stuff. So he does play a big role in it.
You know, I think, Mr. Chair, if we look at Bill as the supervisor and the one in charge of the sewer department, we have to take his recommendation to heart as well. I think we explain why we want to do it, Bill, but you're the boss. And I think that would be the bottom line for me. Our job is to advise you, but you're running it. So again, I think we explained why we wanted two companies when we did it. But again, you're the one sitting at that desk, not I.
Yeah. I mean, I had, when I first talked to Bill about this a few weeks ago, I like everyone else, I think I could come up with an argument for it going either way. Dave and Mike, you brought up one big issue, obviously, is what is the most cost-effective way to do it. And I guess we really wouldn't know that until we start getting bids on the contracts. So I guess as you said, Dave, I would defer to what Bill wants to do.
Yep.
He wants one person to own it, so Bill, you can own it, or
I'd
Paula.
like-
No, not me.
By chance, has anyone talked to Al's boss, Empry himself? Anyone talked to him lately?
No.
You may want to give him a call and see what his thoughts are too. I haven't talked to him in like a year and a half. In fact, we should have him come to the board one of these days soon before, when's this contract done?
June 30th.
And maybe we can have him come in next meeting or something and just give us a review.
I'd be curious of his thoughts on this.
Yeah, no, I would too. I mean, we like him. There's obviously a good relationship there. But yeah, I think we should talk to him. I think the last time we had so much stuff going on and we had to kind of push him off, if I remember, Paula. Or I missed that meeting.
I honestly, I know Al was gonna come in and he didn't have the reports ready and wasn't able to attend. But I can certainly put CTE on the agenda. The concern that I have is if we wait another 2 weeks to move forward with this proposal, we're not gonna get it back in time.
No, I want to do this now. I mean,
So,
they're under contract with us until what, July 1st.
yeah,
So we still got 3 months with these guys right now. Hopefully it'll be renewed, but I would like to see an update before a new proposal is awarded. You know what I mean? It's not gonna stop this.
I completely agree. I would like to have a report and an update before the end of the contract as well.
Why don't we go through this now? Maybe we can get this approved tonight so you can get it going. If you want to
Yeah.
scroll down.
Okay,
I can still hear everyone.
so I'm not sure how you guys want to do this, so
To show us any changes you're making.
So because we are combining them, there are changes, obviously of minor things, myself and Bill versus Barb and Jack. The proposal right now is to release do a pre-proposal virtual conference on May 10th, and then the proposals would be due Wednesday, May 31st, and then the award would be June 13th.
Okay.
So that's a pretty tight timeline. So there's the date, obviously, with request for services, we added the generators to the service under the pump stations.
You were being very optimistic, Paula.
Sorry?
I said you were being optimistic by adding the generators into it.
Well, this is the proposal we've sent out, so if
Yeah,
we're
I
gonna
know,
change
I'm
it, I
just
need
kidding
to
you.
rework.
Just kidding you.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, Paula.
Yes,
Okay, you want to go down a little bit more?
sure. These are just dates and names. This is the monitoring of alarm callouts. Well, I don't know if I can see your, hold on, I want to show comments because I couldn't see the comments. I don't know. Okay, one of the questions that I had is the bid deposit, 5% of the bid and payment bond of 50%. Do we want to require that?
I think we required the 50% bond. That was from Heather. You may want to check with Heather on that one.
Okay,
Yeah, there's nothing big about that.
okay.
I think that's pretty standard.
It's pretty standard.
Yeah.
Because I haven't done this, so. Certainly for not anything of this scope.
You know, if you're trying to kill my eyes, you're doing a real good job on that.
I'm sorry. So the reports have all stayed the same.
Yeah.
Annual reporting has stayed the same, exterior maintenance has stayed the same.
So Paula, I had a comment, it was up a few pages on the
Okay.
no charges for remote response to
I
alarm
thought you said-
calls.
Yeah, hold on.
Where is it? Up
I
just
did, I did see that too.
Right,
Yeah,
no charges for remote. I don't know why I'm not seeing your comments. As I have them in my printed record. But go ahead, Bill.
so my thought on that is, if somebody's answering remote calls, they're gonna expect to get paid, so the technician who answers, it's gonna get a paycheck for that. So I think it's in our best interest to pay for that. Maybe we can limit it to, say, 2 hours. We pay you 2 hours for that call out. If we leave it as it is, the contract is gonna have to build into their price some kind of, way to get compensated for that. So they're gonna take a guess of how many, alarms there's gonna be. So if they guess way too high, they're gonna build in a number that's way too high. We're gonna get higher prices. Excuse me.
So,
Right.
Bill, I like that idea of putting a budget not to exceed
Right,
a lot of money. And the reason why we put that in is because we were getting killed on that. A lot of the
Yeah.
vendors were taking advantage of that.
Sure.
A call and charging us some 4-hour minimum. So maybe
Yeah.
between you and Paula, maybe you can look at that and say, all right, this is our guideline, you know what I mean? But to get charged for a remote call at a $4 minimum at overtime was ridiculous. And that's why it was put in at that time.
So this is for remote response, and I would, if we're gonna put a charge in there, I would make sure that it's outside of, it would be a 2-hour charge outside of the regular hours.
out of normal business
Out of
hours.
normal business hours, which are 6 AM to 6 PM. So I would be
Yeah.
careful about how we word that.
I think that's something
Yeah.
that you and Bill should look at tomorrow. Paula.
I can't remember the wording, but I thought, and obviously it's changed a couple times since the original, but we had some real big issues with alarms.
Yeah.
It was crazy, the amount of what was going out. So
Mm.
we had them work it into the contract. I don't remember the numbers, but let's say, 2 calls a month or something were already in the contract to expect 2 calls. And then above that, there was a basis, I think, but something had to be done. It was like having, another full-time employee or a couple of full-time employees. It was just so crazy. So,
Right, I think there were
That's
times when we were actually double charged for those call outs, but
You know,
we were just trying to find a way to, we kind of felt at the time that if the stations were maintained properly, the time, the call outs would go down, and I think that somewhat has come true, but back then it was kind of crazy.
You know what, Mike, you're absolutely right. And I remember this now, where it said no charges for remote response to alarm callouts during regular business hours. That's what was taken
Something
off
to
somewhere
that
along the way.
effect.
That was taken off.
Yeah, so we wanna, so I just put a note to, Bill and I will address that.
Yeah.
But that's
Okay.
what it was, because they were charging us overtime during business hours.
And that's what I think we wanna make sure they don't.
Yeah, that's
Right.
why I said no charge. It was during
Yeah.
the 8-hour day.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Well, why don't we just add that during normal business hours?
go ahead.
And then obviously, it's something we can monitor, and if there is an issue, once we sign a contract, there's not much we can do, but it would still, if it gets to the point it's crazy, I mean.
I also like the Mike's idea of putting in a number, whether it's 2 or 5 or whatever it is, a month that
Yeah,
should be expected, that should be built into the cost. At least it reduces it down a little bit.
Right,
What you don't want to do, Bill, is set up a category as a catch-all. So if I was a GC, I'd be looking at that, and Brett, maybe you know what I'm talking about. I'd be adding, oh, look at this, I got some free money here, I'm gonna put 2-hour charge. You know what I mean? So that's the other thing you gotta look at, because
Yeah.
it's free cash for a contract.
Does that language
Yeah.
work, or?
No. I would kind of divide it a little bit more.
Okay,
Do you have any
Per
wording
month.
for him?
Well, I'm thinking on my top of my head, remote response outside normal business hours. Available up to 2 hours overtime per week, per month, per day. What does that mean?
well, Bill, what are your thoughts? You just had 2 hours of overtime, if it takes less than
Yeah.
2 hours.
Hmm.
So you want to
Yes.
cap it, Dave?
I would cap it per month and anything above that would have to be approval.
I like that idea. It would be nice to know how many alarms we're getting now.
We used to have fill out a form. Are we still doing that? That used to be
We-
on forms.
We, unfortunately, we don't have any reports. We haven't received any since for over a year.
Why is that?
Maybe there haven't been any calls.
Oh, no, there's been calls.
So why no reports?
We have
Contract
requested
hasn't
them,
followed through.
we have requested them numerous times, as did Barb prior to her departure
Are we requesting through Al or through his boss?
through Al.
I was,
Al is only servicing Lunenburg at this point,
yeah,
so he's our contact,
but the checks are being made to his boss.
correct?
So I would start putting his boss on everything we do. If I was doing this and if I hired Al, I would want, I'm liable for the business. It's my business, not Al's. Al just happens to be our agent, who does a good job. But that's why I'm saying, have we talked to the owner at all? We may want to get him involved before we send this out. And just talk to him, see what's going on with him.
I do know that Al has indicated that he's been working on the reports, and Bill, I don't know if you have anything else to add, because I know Al actually generates the reports.
So Alice told us a couple of times, you'll have the reports by Friday, and the Fridays come and go. So our thought was, we'll give them to this Friday. If we don't see it, we're holding back payment until we do see him.
You
But-
know,
But Dave, you had the right idea, call Chad Empey himself.
Yeah, I think that's fine, wait until this Friday, but before holding payment, I certainly would think probably have a conversation with Chad Empey.
Mhm.
And, you know, you can bring up this discussion of holding back payment, but I wouldn't want to just hold it back if he's not aware of it.
you know, could I ask a question, Mr. Chair, through you?
Absolutely.
What if we bought a iPod or an iPad and Paula, we throw a program on it that when he's at a station, he can just punch in questions? Like, that's all it is, it's just a questionnaire, isn't it? That's what we had before.
I've never seen it, so I don't know.
Well, wasn't it just an Excel spreadsheet and he would,
It was a
you know,
check,
certain categories and he would just fill in the cells?
that's it, yeah. In fact, I might have some copies, I'll check in the office tomorrow of our old reports that we got.
All right, if you could do that and get it to Paula or Bill.
I mean, we can make it easier on not just Al, but any future company coming in.
Right, but
Yeah.
we need to have the discussion with Empey.
Okay,
So do we want to put a cap on this billable up to 2 hours at the overtime rate?
I think we need some kind of cap because we don't want to end up having this done daily. So,
I would say probably 5 hours a month. I mean, what are we paying an hour? Not to exceed $5 per month or $5 per quarter or something like that.
The only comment that I have, though, is that if it's an alarm after hours, they don't really have control over that.
well, they do in the sense that, and I think we saw this before and either Dave or Mike mentioned it. The better maintained the pump stations are, the fewer call outs there are.
Yes,
So if we're too liberal with it, then, you know, maybe the pump stations won't be maintained as well.
Well, I'm kind of concerned now, Mr. Chair, when you say, oh, yes, this is the first we're hearing of that. So how many calls are you getting? You would know better, obviously, than us now.
I know that I know that the alarms went off when we lost power during that snowstorm. I know that the alarms went off. I know that one of the things I have on my business report is there was an alarm that needed to be replaced at Meadowwoods, which is in process. So there have been alarms. So.
And I know we're gonna get alarms anyways, that's gonna happen. Especially with the snowstorm that we had, and you're gonna see generators working.
Exactly.
But, I mean, we used to get these every day, these alarms, if you remember right, Mike, at the time.
It was pretty
It was
much
frequent.
out of control. Yeah.
So,
There's certainly nothing like that.
okay, but then how do you feel about the 5 hours per month?
I think,
And I haven't seen any reports, so I don't know.
I think, why don't we do the 5 hours per month for now and you know, obviously, if it ended up being 10 hours, then I think we need to be able to, you know, talk to whoever has the contract and
Yep.
do something out. Bill, you had your hand up.
I think the 5 has to be a multiple of 2, and I would put it at 10 hours. It's only 5 alarms per month. About 1 a week. I'm gonna guess we're getting that anyway.
Okay,
After hours.
All right, and then I guess if we got 10 every month on a regular basis, I guess we would have to, you know, have a discussion about that. You know, is it 10 because 10 is available? So yeah, let's put it at 10.
I'd like to think at least the current company is pretty respectable. They
Oh, I think
don't,
so.
they don't, you know, Al definitely seems concerned and, you know, takes it to heart. So, but
Yep.
it's, you know, if for some reason another company steps in, you know, then we've got to watch it all over again. That's all.
Right.
He does do everything to keep costs down, no question about that.
hey, kudos Al, I got nothing but praise for the guy. I think he did a great job.
Ditto.
Unfortunately, we can't write a contract based on Al.
No, but obviously it looks that way,
Well,
but,
I think, Dave, I think we're all on the same page here.
okay, Barb, Jesus.
That's okay.
Dave, you must be over 50 years old. That was quite a slip.
Oh, geez.
Bill, you had a comment here about attending meetings. I put that all together under one heading because they'd be attending for one, you know, whether it be for O&M or whether it be for the generators, it's still a meeting. So is that okay? Or I put it in section 9.
Yeah, I forget what my comment was.
Was just that to add the meeting section in here before reports, but I just have it as another section.
Oh, down below.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So these are the reports and this is the same. Maintenance, is the same, no changes.
Paul, go back up.
Yep.
Snow removal, what's that? One more. No, right there, pump station exterior maintenance. Bill, do you have any areas on that? Number 5?
Any concerns with that? Not really, no.
Okay.
And the DPW does the plowing. The contractor has to get into the door, so, you know, he has to shovel a path to the door. I don't think that's asking too much.
No, I just want to make sure we didn't have any problem because that was an issue that came up the last time we sent this out, so. In fact, wasn't there a defective plate at one of the pump stations.
That's been corrected.
That's been corrected. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you, Bob.
Mhm. Okay, so parts and materials, Bill, you had a question, why is this deleted? I recommend keeping it. It